Fears about safety at local places of worship.
That's as this weekend people are remembering two mass shootings at religious sites. Saturday marks 1 week since the synagogue shooting in Pittsburgh, and a service on Sunday will mark the first anniversary of the church massacre in Sutherland Springs.
Tonight, Eyewitness News reporter Roxy Bustamante explains what's changed since both tragedies.
Worshippers worried as the horrific shooting at a synagogue in Pittsburgh falls on the heels of the 1-year anniversary of the Sutherland Springs Church massacre, the deadliest mass shooting in Texas history.
This is not the normal way in which we have seen in our history that things happen, and they are becoming more and more prevalent.
Mary Beth Fisk with the Ecumenical Center says since Saturday, the San Antonio and Wilson County locations have received more calls from people trying to cope.
Our community at large is on guard and certainly needs to find those ways in which they can self-soothe.
She says more survivors and family members from Sutherland Springs are also now reaching out for help.
This is not a process that is completed in a month or 3 months or even a year. The process of grieving and depression, anxiety, and the trauma, it's a long process of healing.
On the city's north side, the congregation Agudas Achim is gearing up to host more than 3,000 people at its annual Kosher Barbecue Festival.
This will look entirely different this time next week.
Mike Kelney says the synagogue has amped up security and made changes to ensure the community's safety.
There will be people from the Sheriff's Department who will be using a wand on every person who comes through the gate. If they find a gun, those people are going to be asked to take it away, put it in their car, something like that, even if they have a concealed carry license.
Fisk says for those who are still trying to work through the fear and anxiety, it's vital to talk about it.
Work through those feelings so they don't impact us and change our walk on a daily basis.
Roxy Bustamante, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
And starting this Sunday, we'll show you how the community has healed in the 1 year since the Sutherland Springs shooting. Witness stories of survival and even hope as we sit down with the families dealing with the trauma of that tragedy.